Welcome back to the Arise interview, where we speak to the newsmakers as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary things around the world and featuring the voices at the heart of the stories. I'm Charles Anyegolu. So, COVID infection rates are soaring in the US, with stricter measures being brought in state by state, and even Republican governors. That's how bad things are there. And to make things worse, there's a faltering transition from one administration to the next. The president-elect Joe Biden is warning that Donald Trump's refusal to begin the transition following his election defeat earlier this month could cost lives and could delay the benefits of a COVID vaccine. Mr. Biden said more people could die from the coronavirus unless the president worked with the incoming team to coordinate vaccination programs. He also added that he wouldn't hesitate to be vaccinated himself, but maintained that doses should be given to the most vulnerable first.
About the need to access the outgoing administration's COVID vaccine distribution plans. What do you see as the biggest threat to your transition right now, given President Trump's unprecedented attempt to obstruct and delay a smooth transfer of power?
More people may die if we don't coordinate. Look, as my chief of staff, Ron Klain, would say, who handled Ebola, the vaccine is important. It's of little use until you're vaccinated. So how do we get the vaccine? How do we get over 300 million Americans vaccinated? What's the game plan? It's a huge, huge, huge undertaking. To get it done, prioritize those greatest in need, and working our way through it, and also cooperate with the World Health Organization and the rest of the world in dealing with this. And so they say they have this warp speed program that not only dealt with getting vaccines, but also how to distribute this. If we have to wait until January 20th to start that planning, it puts us behind over a month, month and a half. And so it's important that it be done, that there be coordination now or as rapidly as we can get that done. But I wouldn't hesitate to get the vaccine if, in fact, Dr. Fauci and these two organizations, whether it's Moderna or Pfizer, who have been extremely responsible, conclude that it is safe and able to be done. Look, the only reason people question the vaccine now is because of Donald Trump. That's the reason why people are questioning the vaccine, because all the things he says and doesn't say, whether is it truthful, is it not truthful, the exaggerations. I think we're on a clear path now. We're on a clear path where the international community and national leaders in the scientific community have focused on these two vaccines. They appear to be ready for prime time, ready to be used. And if that continues along those roads, I would take the vaccine.
America in turmoil. Well, watching all this from her public relations perch in California is one of America's most accomplished PR gurus, Lynn Allen Jeter, who's cultivated the careers of some of the country's most renowned celebrities, working with the likes of Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, and Motown Records, to mention a few. And she joins me now from Los Angeles. Absolutely delighted to have you on the show. We'll talk about you and your fascinating and inspiring career a bit later. But let's first of all talk about the pandemic that's ravaging America and the warning from the president-elect Joe Biden that Donald Trump's refusal to begin the transition following his election defeat could cost lives. What are your thoughts on that?
It is costing lives. It's not that it could, it's costing lives. Over 200,000 people are dead. But more importantly, he won't do the transition out of respect for the new president because he's in total denial. So we in California, we are spiking. Our governor is putting it on hold, any kind of opening up of our businesses or anything like that, because we are spiking and we're continuing to spike. Don't know why. It appears that people are following the rules, but I guess not enough people are following the rules. And when it comes to, wearing your mask and making sure that you're washing your hands, just simply basic common sense things. But I don't understand what else we can do to get the masses to understand. For us to get through this epidemic, we need to follow the scientists' direction.
And you are, of course, in America, and there are some desperate milestones that have been reached recently with infection rates and deaths, as you pointed out. I mean, has that frustrated you when you've seen things like face masks being politicized from the president himself?
It's very annoying and it's very disturbing. So it's very disappointing because we've never had a president that is so unintelligent and not able to see the big picture of things. And more importantly, it's very frightening that we as Americans cannot follow the rules, simple rules of wearing a mask and keeping social distance. I think that that compromise is something that we're bright enough and we understand how it affects us overall as far as our overall health is concerned. And more importantly, how we're not supporting each other when we can see in other countries they are following the rules. I don't understand why people are not wearing masks. I don't understand Trump supporters not wearing masks and coming out for these so-called rallies during this end of this voting. I mean, we have a new president, and the denial is not going to make things change. I just think that we as a culture and we as a people in America, as Americans, we need to really take a posture and a stance to follow the lead and direction of the scientists because the stats are there. They're giving us information that we must know and understand and follow the rules for us to get ahead of this virus.
And forgive me, Lynn, if I sound a little bit cheeky or impertinent, but I think I saw a photo of yourself and Donald Trump on your page there.
Oh, no.
And I was wondering, I thought you guys were chums.
No, not at all. I've never been a fan of Donald Trump's, but that was at a fundraiser. The event, I do believe, at Holly Robinson Pete's home, and we were doing, and I was with my client, Dr. Susan Evans. That's not me. That's Dr. Susan Evans. It's the picture with Donald Trump. But I'm not chummy and not a supporter of him and never will be and never voted for him either. So, no, I'm not chummy. He's a racist. He's been very biased to people of color in New York for many years. So it's not anything new to the presidency. He's been a very biased, prejudiced man. And that's not anything new. And I think what's frightening is what Obama said. President Obama said that part of the reason that Donald Trump got elected was because white America was afraid after they'd had this black president. They were afraid. And that might be true what President Obama is saying, because really and truly, why did the vote go to Donald Trump when he was so unqualified and had no experience, and white people put him in office? So it's really confusing, but I'm praying and know that we're going to be on a great path with our new president and our new vice president once they can get into office and do what they need to do. January the 20th, which is right before my birthday. So that's going to be a very good time for them to get into office and take charge and to encourage us to have choices and know we have choices and we're not stuck with anything at all.
Well, let me be one of the first to wish you a happy birthday in advance. But I suppose, Lynn, in your profession as a PR guru, you have to be a bit of a psychologist and study people and know who you can bet on and how and when to make your pitch. So let me ask you this. I mean, talking about an individual who has always sought power, a lot of power, and suddenly has that power taken away from underneath him, how does that typical figure react? And is that typical figure reacting in the way that President Trump is?
No, I don't think it's typical at all. And it's a part of psychology is a big part of PR and learning people's personalities and their idiosyncrasies and being able to adjust and to adapt to be able to get things done and exposure that you're trying to do for the client or the project. But I can tell you other clients I've worked with that things have maybe gone left and have made a left turn, didn't go the way they wanted. They didn't react this way. I've never seen anyone react this way in such a negative way as far as being pros and cons. We can agree to disagree. And Donald Trump doesn't seem to understand what that philosophy is or has never used it or referenced it in his life, because we can agree to disagree. But now we have a president that is an embarrassment around the world for us. And the rest of the world is looking at us not in admiration of the United States as they've done in the past, but confusion and trying to figure out what they're going to be able to do with us in the United States, or whether they're not going to be able to continue to work with us and look up to us and turn to us for assistance and guidance and support. And we give that to other parts of the world. It's no different than Donald Trump pulling out the Paris Initiative. It doesn't make sense what he's done. But once again, we have to engage with each other and make choices like we've done in electing Joe Biden. We made that decision. We made choices. We came out in numbers, and we have to continue to do that. And things that we don't like that Donald Trump is doing, we have to speak to our legislators and our other politicians that represent our districts and our states and our country, because we can't settle for. And we can't settle for, because settling for will push us backwards. And we already are regressing. So we really need to continue to follow Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's lead. And I think we will be on the right path if we listen and collaborate and support. But I think that no question is a dumb question. I think all questions are legitimate questions. And Donald Trump is to be questioned because he's not qualified or competent to lead this country or any country.
And beyond what President Trump is doing and feeling, what about his supporters and what they're doing? Because I wonder what his refusal to concede means for tension and social cohesion in America. I mean, we've already seen clashes. Do you see all this as an aberration or as part of a trajectory that started with the Tea Party onwards, and what it might mean for the future of America?
Well, for the future of America, I think that we'll be okay, because I have a lot of belief in the younger generation. I am really impressed with lots of millennials and what they're doing, and their approach to Donald Trump, and their approach to actually making things equitable and fair. And they're not afraid to step into something they're not familiar with. They're not sitting on their hands and just tolerating it. They're not. They're running for offices, whether it be a federal office, whether it's a state office. We're doing what we need to do to protect and defend what we believe in. But at the same time, it's very important that we know it's a collective effort for us to be able to block any ridiculousness that Donald Trump is trying to do or engage us in. And that's going to take a collective effort of younger generation, Zs and millennials, as well as the elders. So I say that we're in a good position, because the younger generation, like they're running for office, they're not taking this laying down. They're not settling for Donald Trump's ridiculousness. They're not. They're speaking up, running for office, raising their hand, and taking positions. So I think that I think it's amusing that Donald Trump's going to run at 2024. Why would anybody vote for him in 2024? Why would anyone do that? How old will he be, since he wants to talk about age? So he'll be the age he's talking about Biden for. So for me, I listen. I pay attention to the younger generation. They have lots of opinions, and many of them are very much validated. And I'm very, very blessed to have worked with and still work with younger generations that really teach me and share with me what their vision is and how they want to approach it, and the approach that they're wanting to use, how it's been working for them. I think we as Americans need to step back and realize collectively what we are wanting to do as a country and what we want to do, and passing the baton on to the next generation and the next generation. I'm praying that the generation now, the Zs and the millennials, will really take charge and take a position and not let Trump or anyone in politics rule them or make their decisions and choices, because even after someone's been elected, you can still confront them and request them to do certain things that you'd like to be done for yourself or your community, or for a particular project or anything like that. I think it's very, very doable. All we have to do is believe in ourselves and not hesitate to talk to each other and to collaborate.
Okay, Lynn, stay with us. Would love to talk with you some more and talk about your career, in fact. You're watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead as we continue our chat with one of America's most seasoned public relations gurus amid the country's faltering political transition. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Charles Enyekolu. Now, my special guest today, Lynn Allen Jeter, is a veteran public relations manager who for the past 3 decades has helped to cultivate the careers of some of America's most renowned celebrities, and rightly so, given that she earned her wet wings from the best of them, including Berry Gordy Jr., founder of the legendary Motown Records. Lynn Allen Jeter has since gone on to work with superstars such as Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder, the Jackson Five, the Commodores, Gladys Knight, and a whole host of others, too numerous to mention here. And she's now set her sights on fostering a new generation of multi-talented, fresh faces. And as I said, one of America's most accomplished PR gurus, Lynn Allen Jeter, is still with me via WebEx from California. Thank you very much indeed for staying with us. And you've clearly had and still have an enormously illustrious career. But I think for me, what comes out most resoundingly is that you are a Buckeye in your you went to the Ohio State University, which I also attended a few years ago. So, I mean, there's the commonality. And of course, Columbus, a good sober town to attend school, isn't it?
It is. Absolutely. I'm a Cali girl, but I went to college in the Midwest, and my mother's family was from Ohio. So I went to OU first, and then I went to Ohio State.
I mean, how did you go from studying speech and hearing therapy at the Ohio State University to becoming one? Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Charles Enyekolu. Now, my special guest today, Lynn Allen Jeter, is a veteran public relations manager who for the past 3 decades has helped to cultivate the careers of some of America's most renowned celebrities, and rightly so, given that she earned her wet wings from the best of them, including Berry Gordy Jr., founder of the legendary Motown Records. Lynn Allen Jeter has since gone on to work with superstars such as Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder, the Jackson Five, the Commodores, Gladys Knight, and a whole host of others, too numerous to mention here. And she's now set her sights on fostering a new generation of multi-talented, fresh faces. And as I said, one of America's most accomplished PR gurus, Lynn Allen Jeter, is still with me via WebEx from California. Thank you very much indeed for staying with us. And you've clearly had and still have an enormously illustrious career. But I think for me, what comes out most resoundingly is that you are a Buckeye in your you went to the Ohio State University, which I also attended a few years ago. So, I mean, there's the commonality. And of course, Columbus, a good sober town to attend school, isn't it?
It is. Absolutely. I'm a Cali girl, but I went to college in the Midwest, and my mother's family was from Ohio. So I went to OU first, and then I went to Ohio State.
I mean, how did you go from studying speech and hearing therapy at the Ohio State University to becoming one of the most respected PR professionals in the US and working with the very best of them? I mean, and what did Stevie Wonder have to do with all that?
Well, Stevie's my friend to this day, and I love him, and I care about him. And we've been friends and known each other for a very long time, since he was a boy. I had the pleasure of working directly for his production company, and I did marketing and PR for Stevie's company, which was Black Bull Music, was the name of the production company. Stevie is still in my life. I was blessed to work on Songs in the Key of Life, worked on that project, and had the blessing to learn so much more just by being with Stevie in the studio, listening and learning. And listening is a key thing, I believe, in PR. You have to listen, just like you have to listen in marketing. You have to listen carefully, because there's different little nuances sometimes that are not obvious that a person's trying to get done or wants you to see, but they want you to expose them or their product for. So for me, I feel very blessed because I'm a student and I'm constantly learning. So by virtue of that, I had some of the best teachers in the world because I had a blessing to start with Motown. But speech is a part of public relations because you have to give and deal with media training oftentimes because people don't know how to do that. They're not coming from that background as a public speaker. They're coming from a background of maybe being a singer or being a dancer or an actress, but they don't really have the media savviness to be able to be comfortable to do interviews or to control an interview. And we try to teach them how to control an interview. It's very important that you're able to do that. And I love what I do. And I have lots of people I can thank for that blessing. I work with some of the best in the business. So I've had great teachers, and I'm a good listener.
Glad that you've done what you did, because through your work, a lot of those people have become better known to the likes of us. And of course, today you are fostering a new generation of fresh faces with lots of talent. I mean, tell us about some of those who are currently in your bouquet, as it were.
One of my flowers, her name is Katrina Cat Jackson. She's a tattoo artist and a fine painter. And I've had her since the beginning of her career. She started on a show, a reality show dealing with tattoos. She's gone on to move to California and open up her own tattoo shop, the only African-American owned, female-owned tattoo shop in LA County. The name of her shop is Enigma Tattoo Salon Studio. And then I also have an amazing client that I really have learned and enjoyed a lot. And I really am not into politics except on certain levels that affect us as people and culturally. But Equal Justice Now is a nonprofit organization that I had the pleasure of doing their first award show, the Ben Crump Award Show this year, and getting ready for the next one for 2021. And they just got in California Proposition 25. They got that not passed to protect our culture, to protect Black men, and above all, to know and to respect that we have rights within the law. And even if we don't have bond money or bail money, there's other ways that we're able to do things as opposed to being incarcerated and locked up indefinitely for a trial date. So that's another client, one of my community clients in dealing with politics, which is current. We're really working very hard on it. I'm excited about that. And then also, I have an amazing yoga client. Her name is Robin Downs, Yoga Flavor. And Robin is the first African-American ever to have a yoga video distributed and recorded. And she also comes from the media arts, and she's also an Emmy winner. So Robin comes from the background of dealing with television and MTV, I believe, but she's had her business Yoga Flavor. We've been dealing with that for 25 years. The anniversary is coming in 2021.
Well, I mean, that all sounds very interesting. I also understand you're branching into television production, so the scope of your enterprise is expanding beyond PR. Very briefly, how challenging is that? You know, I suppose you've got to have the right pitch for the networks that are obviously deluged with proposals and things like that.
Yes, that's true. But television and film, like I'm working with screenwriters as well as directors and producers. But the thing of it is with TV, now it's wide open because of streaming. So I think it gives people a bigger opportunity to be a part of the television platform. And I also think that we have Netflix to thank for that as well. Many people who couldn't get things done before, they now have another outlet, and Netflix has given them that outlet, just like Fox Soul is a new outlet. So I believe the field is opened up much broader for TV, for especially people that are new and going to be at the beginning of their development stage, or those that have done a few things but don't have very much of a track record. Then you're actually having another outlet to be able to do that. I love working with creative people, whether you're a writer, whether you're a producer. Like I have a client, a show that's called Love and Listings, and it's a reality show. It's got to do with real estate and dealing with love affairs and famous people and listings of their property and what they're getting for their property and the drama that comes with it. So it's the business of real estate and it's the drama of relationships. But it's a great show, and it's educating us as well at the same time. So I think that's very important. I don't want to ever stop learning, and I can continue to learn from different points of view, and I'm from different areas. So TV and film is something I have been blessed to be able to deal with dealing with some of my other clients in the past. There were television and film actors. So right now, I think it's wide open. Thank God for streaming. I think we have some other platforms to give people an opportunity, and I think we're doing it. And I don't believe that Donald Trump is going to be able to impede that in any way whatsoever. I believe there are enough people within the industry now to make a change and are making a change. Like, I'm a huge fan of Charles King. If you guys don't know who he is, you should look him up. Amazing man, just a brilliant creative mind in the industry of entertainment. He used to be with William Morris, has his own company, Macro, but he's a special person, Charles King. So once again, just taking the time to take the research and find the people that look like us and don't look like us, that want to collaborate with us to be able to tell our stories and to show content that people around the world need to see and know about us as African Americans. I've been blessed to come to the continent of Africa. And so I know how important it is that we share our experiences and we gain from them. And I thank you so very much for even having the interest to talk to me. But I've been very blessed in my career to work with actors, producers, songwriters. It's just been a wonderful thing. And I can only count my blessings. Like, I started certain people's careers. Lisa Ray started with me at the beginning of her career when she moved here from Chicago, did Players Club. That's how her career started. So I feel very blessed in that.
Right, okay. Lynn, I want to thank you very much indeed for being our special guest today. Lynn Allen Jeter is the veteran public relations manager and who's worked with some of the biggest names and most renowned celebrities in America. That's it for this edition of the Arise interview. Do join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja and the United States. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.